wore us down, and they kicked their tail in the second half. So I thought there was some positives, some things to really be excited about in the first half, particularly defensively. I thought that our defense did a lot of good things in the first half. And we came out right out of the gate, and they marched right down the field on us. I think that Coach Satterfield does a really nice job with his script, changing things up, and they did the same thing that they did against Notre Dame to us, and shoved it right down our throat in that very first series. And then we kind of settled in and played well defensively. Thought that they did a lot of good things from there on out. I mean, they only scored one more touchdown. It was on a short field that right after the big pump. So we really struggled with our offense against their defense. I mean, they were tackling well. They really were tight in coverage. We weren't able to take advantage of one-on-one matchups, and they made a couple plays when we threw the ball out there in one-on-one matchups in space, and I thought they did a really nice job, not just in the first half, but all day long defensively. I mean, they really stopped our run game. We weren't able to throw the ball very effectively, so we just got to play better on offense, and probably the biggest disappointment there, we gave a couple too many sacks. I thought some of that was on the line, some of that's on the quarterback. I mean, we got through our progression, and then we started to try to find our way. I mean, we got to get to the check down or throw the ball away. We can't have negative yardage plays, get behind the sticks. It's just really hard to be successful offensively when you're playing from behind the sticks, and they're creating negative yardage plays. And then in the second half, they just wore us out. I mean, they just ran inside zone. We couldn't stay in gap. And they've got some really dynamic guys that when they get in open space, we have a hard time competing with their speed. So they really wore us out. And they kept the pedal on, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, but they scored, 2 or 3 in the fourth, were up handily. I mean, they put the pedal down and kept going. And that's what good teams do. It's what I'd like to do to other people too. So I'm not offended by it. We got to stop them. So got to go out and play better. We got to play better on both sides of football. We can't allow an explosive in the special teams. That's a little bit concerning. We were better than that on teams. We had a couple issues on teams. Punt wasn't our best day. We had an issue both punting and on the coverage. So we're gonna get those things corrected. And come back out next week. We got a huge game. We got to be ready for that. Can't let this any linger.
Badly, you got outplayed, a little bit in the first half. You'd only be down by 14 when you went in the half. You guys had to be still optimistic, and you were still right in the game.
Yeah, we were playing away from being a ball game, and then we just weren't. I mean, that's how that went. At halftime, that was exactly the message. We're playing away from this being real, and then it was a couple plays later, and it wasn't anymore. They started to pull away from us. So they just out physical to us up front. We're a little thinned out there, and I think that showed. That hurt us. I mean, they were getting us on inside zone. I mean, they had 2 huge runs on inside zone. We're a gap control defense. We're not double fitting things or anything. They're knocking us out of our gaps. And they just wore us down. Is what happened up front. They were wearing us down. That was the big difference on defense. And then they've got dynamic enough guys that for us, those guys get into open space, and that's a problem. 3, you saw him, he runs around in open space. We don't have somebody who can match his speed. With 10, we can't match his speed. With 1, we can't match his speed. Those guys just, they got out in open space, and that was really our big thing. We couldn't allow that to happen. That we needed to converge, and that was how they scored their first one. Was 1 got out in open space, and then the whole second half they got into green grass with their athletes, and it's tough on us.
What positives did you see from Connor and then Parker McKinney coming in?
Yeah, our plan was that Parker was going to play in the first half. We just didn't mess that up. We should have got him in on the first half, but the plan was just that we were going to put Parker in the second series of the second half. That was the plan. We talked about it at halftime. Wasn't any real switcheroo or anything. That was our plan. I thought that as I said, we took a couple sacks where I wish we would have just, either dumped the ball down or thrown it away and moved on to 2nd and 10 a couple times. But, we did not throw an interception. I mean, the first thing that you got to do to play winning football is protect the ball. And if we're out there and we're throwing the ball to the other team, that's not going to be any good. So we didn't throw the ball to the other team. I was pleased with that. I really didn't even think that there was any that I can remember right off the top of my head that were even close. They didn't put the ball in jeopardy, and that's base 101. We start from there, So mission number 1 is don't put the ball in jeopardy at the quarterback position. So very, very pleased with that. We had a couple drops too. I mean, that's 2 straight weeks we've dropped too many balls. I don't think it was like 10 of them or anything, but a couple that's a big deal, when you got 2nd and 10 and you drop a ball that was going to be first down. Now you're 3rd and 10. Go play offensive coordinator. That's not real fun. So we just got to catch those balls, and we had the ability to do so. We've got to be able to win that one-on-one matchup in tight coverage. We got to some of those plays that were made. We got to find a way to come down with the football on some of those. So that's key.
You talked about speed in the open field. So how much of a factor is athleticism in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple guys, 10, 3, 1, 19. Those guys are really, really athletic guys. They can run, they can accelerate. They're not guys that we see on a regular basis and week in and week out basis in our conference. You give those guys a little bit of space in open field and plays that when we're playing an OVC play and things along those lines might be 6-8 yards can turn into 66 or 86, because they can just run. We can't close the gap. We can't close the gap with those guys because they're pretty quick. So that certainly does play a part. It definitely does play a part. It doesn't, when you run inside zone, I mean, we should be gapped out. We should be able to get that thing on the ground in a short manner. But if it does split you, that's where it becomes a trouble.
It's obviously a team that competes in Power 5 conference. I don't care what their record is. It's a good team. Anytime they can. Those guys are as talented as they come in college football. They're doing college football at the highest level. So I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating, but we have to look ahead to what now we have ahead of us because none of our goals are out of reach now. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to win that, and you want to win every game, but now we go down to we play our OVC and a couple of non-conference, and we still have everything right in front of us.
You get an interception. They miss a field goal. It's still 14-0. The coach said that was the message at halftime. Say we're 1 play away.
Yeah.
And they just sucked the momentum out with that big play right there, taking the third.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we never really got much going on offense, and obviously that's a credit to them. I felt like I felt like they kind of knew what we were doing.
And Connor, you played at Oregon State, so you played in front of big crowds. You had 48,000 fans out there. So did you kind of feel, settled getting in there, starting this game because you had, that experience under your belt?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that stuff has really helped, and I think too, seeing that competition as well helps too.
So you kind of alluded to this, but as far as any impact from this leading over this next week with Indiana State, I mean, can you just focus on Indiana State, I guess? I mean, does this hold the back of preparation?
I think as any competitor, I think this will obviously hurt, and it's not as easy to sweep under the rug as people may say, but I think if we let that drag on, it will affect future weeks. So that's definitely something that as a team we're gonna have to figure out how not to let that happen.